6:00 p.m. We will start this meeting the way we always do, on time, so we will end on time, and we will do it the way we always do, with an invocation tonight by Mr. Causey, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Howard. If I can get everybody to please stand.
Thank you for all our many blessings. You bless us with so many things that we probably don't need at times. I thank you for the opportunity that we have to live in this great country that we do, where we can gather as a group and express our opinions. And tonight, as we go through our meeting, dear Lord, I ask for guidance and wisdom along this council as we make the decisions that affect the people of this great county. I also ask, dear Lord, that you just be with each and every one of us as we leave here tonight and keep us safe and help us to get back to home or wherever we may be going. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Attention to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. For the record, this is our regular council meeting for February 3rd, 2026. Before we start the public input, I would like to bring up Mr. Spivey, our administrator, to talk about some of the things that's happened and some of the great work that Horry County has done for us.
Thank you, Chairman and council members. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight to talk about Team Horry. Over this weekend, our community was faced with something unique. I suspect a number of people moved to Horry County to get away from snow, but it came here. And I've actually heard this described as a bomb cyclone or a winter hurricane. If you look at the normal Category 1 hurricane, the pressure is about 980 millibars. What we experienced this weekend was 976, a lower amount. It was equivalent of a hurricane impact potentially to our community. And we've got 2 inches of snow at the very least part of the county, at the southern part in Garden City, but at the northern part had 8 inches or more of snow, which impacted our roads and a lot of activities for our community. Public safety works 24/7, and during this event, they lost no opportunity to serve our public. And I want you to be assured of that. But there are some unsung heroes we want to call out that helped them be able to do their job. We had over 100 personnel in our public works and stormwater departments that were involved in preparation. Over 2,000 man-hours went into this event. Our public works assisted SCDOT because they were stretched with the impacts across the state and actually did road preparation and response efforts to many of our state roadways. We had 9 plowing crews, worked 1,000 lane miles of roads across the county with our motor graders, 6 pre-treating crews that addressed the bridges and high traffic areas of intersections on county roads. 14 crews from Public Works and Stormwater cleared each of our fire stations, each of our solid waste convenience centers, and many of the Horry County government facilities to allow us to open back up to the public. Over 45 pieces of heavy equipment were utilized in clearing snow during this, all while having 0 reportable accidents from our employees. And it's not just Public Works and Stormwater. Our Horry County maintenance team addressed the sidewalks and parking lots and all that with each of the county facilities across the county. And our Department of Airports, they were in place when the snow began, and they stayed at the airport till it was clear and open the following day. A mammoth effort, and I think I could share with you that I'm extremely proud of the team effort or impacts and how they made a positive impact for our community. So thank you, and thank you, Team Horry.
Yes, sir. Not just a slogan, commitment to excellence. Okay, we'll go ahead and start the public input tonight. We had a lot of people sign up. I just want to remind people of the rules. By rule, the total public input can last no longer than 30 minutes. Each person gets up to 5 minutes. We have this clock here. Green is go, go, go. Yellow will remind you only have 1 minute left, time to wind it up. And red is stop. We're going to be enforceful of the rules tonight because we have so many people. Not everybody's going to get to talk, so don't go over the 5 minutes. If you go over the 5 minutes, we'll have to call you down, and because the next person's waiting, and the next person's waiting, and it's kind of like a train. So want to remind everybody, this is a professional venue. We want to hear you. We're glad you're here. We're glad that this is a packed house, and we're glad that everybody wants to be here for this. But we want to hear you. So when I say that, I mean that. And I can't hear you if everybody's clapping and whistling and yelling and screaming. It's not a basketball game. It's a professional venue. So for us to hear you, we'd ask you that you be professional and let the person speaking speak. There's no need to applaud or clap or yell or whistle or stand up and boo or anything like that, because if it was just one of those things, we would say, okay, who can yell the loudest? And that's what we would do, and we're not going to do that, okay? So we'll start. I'm just going to go down the list, start with the first person that signed up, go to the second person that signed up, and on until we run out of time, all right? So the first person that signed up was Travis, and if I say it wrong, I apologize to any and everybody. Everybody's speaking about the same topic. The first one is Travis Dayhuff.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. So I am from Nelson Mullins, and I'm here tonight on behalf of Asha Vista Behavioral Institute. I'm going to start tonight by talking about the benefits of the Asha Vista proposal. If we want to increase access to psychiatric care in Horry County in the near term, Asha Vista is not just the best option, it's the only option. Asha Vista can put 78 inpatient beds in the county in service in under a year. There is no other party out there with the resources, with the building, or with the license from the Department of Public Health who can get that done. Asha Vista can help your residents get care closer to home. Your residents are traveling long distances for inpatient mental health care. At the community meeting we had last week, we heard from a mother who had to travel to North Carolina to get inpatient care for her son, making a difficult situation more difficult. Asha Vista can help your county's emergency departments. Some of my clients, your EDs have long wait times. They have those long wait times because they're often overwhelmed with mental health patients, waiting for beds, inpatient beds, sometimes for days. Asha Vista is not only what the county residents need, it's what they want. 63% of the residents support opening Asha Vista. When those residents, those survey respondents were informed about the ED strain caused by the lack of inpatient beds and the distance folks are having to travel, that support went up to 77%. Providing further confirmation of the public support for Asha Vista, at the community meeting last week, we had lots of folks come out to support us. As the Post and Courier described it, the room had a sea of green shirts with the message, mental health care is health care. Our petition in support of Asha Vista is now over 1,100 signatures. Settlement agreement, let's talk about that in my remaining time. If this agreement is approved, the circuit court case ends and a federal court ADA case never begins. And that's important because the regulations and case law are clear. Zoning rules and decisions that impose more restrictions on mental health care facilities than on other types of health care facilities violate the ADA. Entities that violate the ADA expose themselves to having their zoning rules enjoined, having their zoning decisions overturned, not to mention damages and attorney's fees. Now, that said, please hear this. Asha Vista would much rather spend 2026 establishing a hospital rather than litigating the case. That's why we work so hard with the ZBA at the mediation to develop mitigating measures in the settlement agreement. So I'll talk about some of those measures. The settlement agreement includes measures addressing the community's security concerns. Asha Vista will construct a new wall, new fencing, new gating. We'll have 24/7 video surveillance of the site. We'll have 24/7 security guard presence. Asha Vista brought an expert in healthcare facility design to the community meeting. He explained how the facility would be staff secure. That's a fancy way of saying there'll be lots of providers there treating folks and keeping eyes on folks around the clock. This expert explained how the exterior doors will be secure sally ports. He explained how we'd have both video monitoring and a state-of-the-art infrared thermal monitoring system that can track all movement within that facility. The settlement agreement provides assurances for the community about the nature of the care we will provide. Some residents voiced the concern that we would be an outpatient drug treatment center, a methadone clinic. That concern had us scratching our heads because we've never proposed to be a methadone clinic. But to address that concern, our settlement agreement includes our agreement that we will not seek licensure for or provide outpatient drug treatment at that site. We acknowledge that providing that kind of treatment would violate our zoning. In short, we won't be a methadone clinic, ever. The measures we agreed to with the ZBA are substantial. They'll add about $1 million to the cost of that project, which we're happy to do. I'll conclude, as my yellow light is on, with a couple comments we heard at the community meeting. We heard folks who believe their home values will decrease. While some studies have found that methadone clinics can decrease home values, there are no studies supporting the notion that an inpatient psych hospital would decrease home values. A
Thank you,
decrease
sir.
in home values is also very unlikely because
To interrupt you because we're out of time and we want to keep it rolled.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right, I had just already told him his time was up, and we're not going to have any outrageous comments from the crowd, all right? We're going to try to keep moving forward so we can get as many people to talk as possible.
Thanks for considering our settlement agreement.
Yes, sir, thank you. Next up is Curtis Hensley. Curtis Hensley. All right, we'll move on to Fred Savageau. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry.
Good evening. My name is Fran Savageau, and I am the CEO of the Vistas and a member of the Board of Directors of GFI CRE. Both of those are Massachusetts-based companies. I want to express my gratitude to Chairman Gardner and the men and women of the Horry County Council for the opportunity to address both them and to take a little time to talk about Asha Vista Behavioral Institute. We are proposing to build 78 acute care psychiatric beds here in Horry County. We are prepared to begin construction in early March and have these beds available for the public by right around this time in 2027. It will take about 8 to 10 months of renovation work to get those beds online. And why do we come to Horry County, South Carolina to do this work? And it's really because, more than anything, it's where I'm from. And it's where other members and in the leadership team are from. I was, literally have been here for 50 years, since 1976. My grandparents and my parents are buried here. My wife's buried here. And this is home for me. And so I've done this for 46 years. I've been in this industry for 46 years, always in behavioral health care. Done this 36 of the 50 states, and was excited about the opportunity to bring these beds home to my home in Horry County. We are going to be very, very good for the county. We're going to bring roughly 165 high-paying jobs to the county. We're going to have a tremendous impact, positive impact on the tax base for Horry County and the Burgess Authority. And we're going to have a state-of-the-art psychiatric hospital that is staffed by psychiatrists, nurses, therapists, and techs working around the clock to do acute psychiatric care. And what does that mean exactly? It means short-term care for adults where we triage and we stabilize, and then we quickly manage a discharge, and the discharge then is to a network of services that exist in Horry County. We will do short-term length of stay. We will not bring any additional traffic. We will not bring any additional noise to that area. Certainly nothing different than the previous tenant in that building. And we are tremendously excited about the opportunity to do the work. With Myrtle Beach being one of the fastest growing counties in the country, and now South Carolina recently being placed in the position, as you guys are, I'm sure, acutely aware, of being the fastest growing state in the United States, these beds are desperately needed. We are well underbedded. We're 38th of 50 states in preparedness for folks with psychiatric disorder. And this will be 78 beds dedicated to the care specifically of adult patients. The other thing that's important to note is that these folks that we're talking about treating are us. We're talking about treating folks from our neighborhoods, folks from our communities, folks from our churches, and folks from our schools. We're not bringing people in from any other part of the state. We're not going to do work with sexual offenders. We're not going to do work with folks that are directly leaving penitentiaries or correctional facilities. And all along, our mission will be to allow individuals that are suffering from psychiatric disorder to quickly be evaluated, given a path for treatment, be stabilized, and be discharged back to church, community, home, school, etc. I'm extremely excited about the opportunity to do this here in our hometown, in my hometown. We've got tremendous support from the professional community who are looking forward to us providing these beds. And I'm hoping that we will be able to begin to do this work just as fast as we can begin the renovation process. Chairman Gardner, thank you very much, and thank you to Horry County Council.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll move right on to the next person, Gerald O'Neill.
Good evening, council members. How are you? Is there any way I could pass you some documents, or?
You could, if you have something for council to read,
Yeah.
you can give them to the administrator.
Okay.
And I've called your name, but for the record, just introduce yourself to us.
My name is Gerald O'Neill.
Thank
I
you.
live at 396 Emery Oak Drive in Arbor community. Thank you very much, council, for hearing us. Obviously, we live in a community where people are opposing this, and not really for the reason that they're suggesting. No one in the community is saying that there's no need for mental health. No one in the community is saying that there's not a need in South Carolina. No one in the community is saying that they're a bad company. No one's saying they've done anything terrible. No one's saying anything like that. All the people in my community are saying it just doesn't belong right there. That's all we're really trying to put across. I'm going to try to make a few points here that talks about that. And I'm mainly going to focus about the Arbor Oaks community, because that's the community most directly affected. We live right off the MSC Road. It's one road in and one road out. I live 3 houses down away from where this is going to go in. We came to Muriel Inlet, for the southern lifestyle. You drive all around, you see Murrell's, I'll say Murrell's correct, Murrell's Inlet, Murrell's Inlet life. What is inlet life? Palm trees, mossy oaks, sea breezes. It's not a 7 or 8 foot wall around a building in a community that we have to drive by every day now. But that was just my opening. Now I'd like to make some observations. During last week's meeting, I noticed many residents from nearby neighborhoods participated and expressed their opinions, which I respect. However, the people most affected by the decision are those who live in Arbor Oaks. We are the ones who will have to be content with the daily realities, increased traffic noise, and the prospect of a wall, changing the character of our environment. For these reasons and others I will elaborate on, I will hope the council vote no, as the zoning board previously did. The need for a facility like this is not the question, but located within Arbor Oaks is not appropriate. Fundamental authorization of this zoning change, I believe, and I've looked it up with some legal people, is not a reasonable accommodation under the ADA. At the last meeting, the importance of community engagement was emphasized. So much, again, a lot of support was given. Yeah, they were given free sandwiches and T-shirts and offered encouraged to attend. And again, no one's saying that this isn't a need. We understand it's a need of the community. The core issue is the location and the zoning board laws, which clearly indicate that such a facility does not belong at this location. Primary concern for those directly impacted at Arbor Oaks community is increased traffic noise, significant alteration to daily life, the requirement to construct a wall, I don't know if it's 7 or 8 feet, which signal to any reasonable person that this facility simply does not belong in our neighborhood. Ashta Vista appears to have conducted their due diligence. They've included cost analysis, security plans, and are reportedly willing to spend over $1 million to have this facility for them. And threatening legal action to zoning's not changed. At the core of this, it's not really about what they provide. We understand they provide excellent service. The core of this in this location is about business and profit. According to the information from their other companies, the facility would generate between $800 and $2,000 per night per bed. I went by 74 beds. I didn't realize it was 78. 74 beds equates to $74,000 daily. $5 million weekly, $2 million monthly, $500,000, $2 million monthly, with a potentially $25 million per year. This financial motivation is a significant driver behind the push for zoning change. There were statements made at the meeting about not offering outpatient addiction program. Very carefully worded, which he did again tonight. The wording was outpatient care. Nationwide studies indicate that 50% of those with mental health issues struggle with addiction. Even with outpatient treatment, that's the word they used, outpatient, that's the key. They're still going to provide maintenance programs for addiction. There are going to be people there who have addiction issues. These maintenance programs will be administered within the facility, which still raises some concern. The argument has been made that the facility will address community needs by reducing the burden on emergency rooms. However, the Horry County population is 600,000.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Time flies, doesn't it? All right, we'll keep moving, get as many people up here as we can. Victoria Calder?
Good evening. I'm Dr. Victoria Calder. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing us to have these public comments. And thank you also for controlling the environment so that there's not all that screaming and yelling like we had last week. It's been said, and I've always liked this saying, that in the end, we're all just walking each other home. And I hope that we won't lose sight of that in the heat of this controversy. We're all here to protect in one way or another what matters to us, whether it be those who want to protect loved ones who need mental health care, or those who wish to protect their families from perceived threats to safety in some way, or in the case of the developers, perhaps to protect their investment dollars. But overall, we need to respect that process. I heard so much shouting and hatred last week, and I wanted to say, fix that, so I'm really glad that you did. And I would like to say for the Ashta Vista folks, if you're going to do something, do it right. Build it right. You've said that there are no alternatives, but there are always alternatives. It might not be immediate, but a lot of things in our lives take time to get it right. If you have a chance, Ashta Vista, to leave a brilliant legacy. You have a chance to build a mental health facility that you can be proud of, that we can be proud of, something the community can get behind and support. Of course, the initial cost will be more than restructuring the existing facility, but play the long game. Profit will flow much more abundantly over the years if you focus on getting positive reviews, developing a strong reputation, perhaps getting awards, and developing a winning brand that other facilities would want to emulate. That does not appear to be the case with what we've seen so far. To do so, you would need to locate your facility at a property where patients can experience a calm, healing environment surrounded by nature. There is extensive research showing the healing value of natural beauty. High-value mental health facilities have gardens with walking paths, trees, birds, fountains, monitored, of course, but even high-security prisons allow inmates to go out in the prison yard for sunshine and fresh air. The proposed facility does not appear to lend itself to being a healing environment. It's on a major highway with heavy traffic, where the infrastructure is already somewhat impoverished. The building specifics that were shared appear to create a prison-like institutional atmosphere rather than a place to heal and find hope. The idea of not being an outpatient methadone clinic clinic or outpatient drug treatment. As the gentleman just said before me, there is going to be inpatient drug treatment. Many of the people there will be dual diagnosed. They may have depression, they may have anxiety, along with withdrawal from whatever drugs may be. So there is that factor to consider. Council members, please realize that for hundreds of residents who will be adversely impacted by this project, they've been clear. The need for mental health a facility is not the issue. It is the location that is so objectionable. Your constituents elected you to sit at the table and answer the hard questions and ask the hard questions, to stand up when powerful interests come a-calling, to not give in to strong-arm tactics, the threat of being sued. Oshawa Vista has announced we want to be a good neighbor, and yet they've led with threatening lawsuits, plural. That's not what good neighbors typically do where I come from. And my people, by the way, have been here in South Carolina since the 1700s. We ask you to stand up when powerful interests come a-calling. We elected you to not give in to strong-arm tactics, not to look the other way, not to rubber stamp your decisions, not to treat public opposition as an inconvenience, but see it as a mandate. We trust that you'll choose to be an upstander and not a bystander when a bully comes along. We pray that you'll vote wisely. So the only other thing I want to mention, because I have a minute left, I guess, is that people keep saying property values won't go down. Look into something called external obsolescence in real estate. It's on most of the real estate exams. It means that property values may go up, they may even double, but had a facility not gone in that was super objectionable in whatever way, they would have gone up more, typically 15%. That's the case across the country where external obsolescence has been addressed and in some cases litigated, whether it be a data center, a much-needed Bitcoin plant, a facility of any kind that's more institutional in a residential area. So it is absolutely well-researched that property values are adversely impacted, whether they go down or not.
Thank you, Doctor. All right, next up. Remember, no outlaw. That's not going to accomplish anything. Just delays the time.
Mr. Chairman, if you just would indulge me for a second. Dr. Calder, are you a medical doctor?
Oh, I'm a psychologist. I'm still fully licensed in Texas. I've been licensed since 1976, initially as a school psychologist and later dual licensed until just this year as a school psychologist and a clinical psychologist. So I've been in many, many mental health institutions and seen what good practices look like.
Thank you. I was just curious. She was a doctor. I wanted to know what type of insight she had.
Psychologist.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much. All right, let's move on. Stephanie Chiapetta.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Chiapetta. I'm with Horry County Residents for Responsible Building. And this is a zoning issue, and we do so many zone changes. It's not about the hospital, it's about the zone. It's time we stop with the zone changes willy-nilly. If we allow these people to bully you into changing a zone legally or illegally, then what's going to happen down the road with anybody else who comes into town to develop property and they want to, and the ZBA or the Planning Commission don't want to change the zone? You're setting a precedent by allowing them to bully you into changing a zone. So be careful how you vote. Be careful how you treat the community of Horry County, because we're all watching. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for coming out. All right. Alibi for Curtis Hensley. All right, let's move into the alternates. Anna Kakis.
Hi, thank you so much for letting me speak. My name is Anna Kakis, and I live at 156 Parmalee Drive in Murrells Inlet. I've been a resident here for almost 5 years. I First of all, I've been to every meeting, and the zoning, as you all know, is not zoned for this facility. This is not a mental health facility. It's not supposed to be that. I urge you, each and every one of you, at the first meeting, the zoning board had turned it down unanimously. And at the last meeting, we heard that there was a closed-door meeting with the county stating that there were some concessions made in order to approve it. As the woman before me had stated, zoning, once the zoning is put into place, and all of a sudden it starts to change you're setting a precedent, and it's wrong. It's totally wrong. Before you know it, once things start changing, the whole area is going to change. People who have lived here their whole lives, like the woman here, the doctor, and other people, I know I'm from the north. I moved here because I loved it. I've been coming down here for years, and we don't want things to change. We really don't. I did not buy a new build. I bought a pre-existing home. And, we don't want the area to change from what it was. The 70-somewhat bed facility that they're proposing, when you start to figure it out, it's, 7 to 10 days stay. It's roughly about 234 patients they're going to see per month. Okay, that's a lot more traffic than having a nursing home or an assisted living facility. So nobody can tell me that the traffic is not going to increase on 707, coming and going into a development that has one way in and one way out. That's a lot of traffic, plus all the people who are going to be working there, the nurses, the one security guard that I think is ridiculous, the doctors coming in and out. So yes, a 707 used to be one lane each way. Now it's very congested. I mean, you can't even put a traffic light there. On the corner of Prince Creek Parkway, how many accidents happen? And now we're going to have even further traffic problems. So I really wish everybody here would really consider this very hard. Think about this. I also want to talk about the school, the kids, the security here. There's a lot of children. I drove through this development many times, and there are a lot of kids playing, riding their bikes. The school bus stops right at the entrance of this development. It's not going to be the same for the people who live in this area. It's not. And as far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of other properties in other parts of Horry County. Just driving here from Murrells Inlet, there's a lot of property. Would it cost more money? Absolutely. But just like the doctor said, you know what? Try to he can make it into a showcase and no one's arguing that there is not a need for mental health. There is a need, but not there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for coming out. We have 2 minutes left. I'll leave it up to you, Mr. Schlossberger. You want to speak for 2 minutes? Okay, come on up here and tell us your name.
Steve Schasberger, Prince Creek, Murrells Inlet. I want to thank everybody for being here and having an open ear. I want to appeal to common sense tonight. I heard Carolina Forest mentioned, and if somebody came in and had a property and decided to put a gentleman's club right across the street from Carolina Forest, I don't think they'd necessarily want a gentleman's club there, even though it's a legitimate business, nor would they want to have a smoke shop, okay? And that's kind of how I feel about our neighborhood and community, that we're here, and not that they're not a legitimate business, this and that, but it was not designed for that. It wasn't meant to be there to begin with. I think the facility was some type of senior citizen facility. It was zoned for that. It was built for that. I would like to see some kind of a senior facility come into that building. The building's not in bad shape, so it's not an eyesore. It can sit there till we find the right person to purchase it and put the right business in. The other thing is, I do have concerns about the security. Knowing a little bit about psychology myself, you can never over or underestimate when you're dealing with psychiatric people. You don't know what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, to what extent. There are no guarantees. So I don't want to get to that point where we're sorry or something happened or an accident. Keep it out, vote against it. The general public, that I'm a barber, and the people I talk to that I cut their hair, they're totally against it. So I'm speaking for myself, but I'm speaking for a lot of people. Please do not let this go through. We're a rich county. So if we end up going into a lawsuit situation, we got to pay these guys off, we got the money to do it. Let's bring in a better, legitimate business. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. This has been a very hot topic. I'm glad we were able to listen to both sides. I want to thank y'all for being professional. We could actually hear what y'all were saying because it's important to us. We're going to close public input now. We'd love for you to stay. We got a lot of county business to deal with, or if you want to leave, you can leave now. It's up to you. The reason I say that is because usually when 100 people leave out of here, we can't hear what's going on. So we'll give you a chance to leave if you want. If you want to stay, that would be great too. All right, we'll keep moving then. Next up is, oh, wait a minute.
They don't want to know what the outcome is? Mr. Chairman, maybe we should make it clear that we will be voting on this particular item.
Oh, yeah, I think everybody's aware of that. Everybody has an agenda. We're going to vote on this at the end of our business. We're going to vote whether or not we accept this mediated approval or a mediated agreement from the lawsuit, which is the reason everybody was here, right? So we'd encourage you to stay if you want to, but some people may need to leave. We're leaving it up to you. I think everybody understands that.
If they'd like to see the outcome, they should stay.
Yeah. Or you can watch it on TV. You can stay here, you can watch it on TV. Whatever you want to do. I want y'all to be happy. I just don't want to be conducting business while we have 100 people moving in and out because we won't be able to hear what's happening. All right, we're going to move forward now. All right, next up is the approval of the agenda contents. Is there a motion?
So moved.
A second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
The ayes have it. This is for two meetings, the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting from January 20th and the emergency meeting from January 23rd. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Carries. Next is the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
That passes. Next up is presentations and resolutions. The first one is the only one is Resolution R10, 2026, supporting the construction of United States Interstate I-73 in South Carolina to service Horry County and the PD region, and to name and dedicate this section as the President Donald J. Trump Highway. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Crawford, you have an amendment?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would kindly ask that we, or make a motion that we strike the final sentence of the resolution.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Back to the original resolution as amended. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
The ayes have it. That carries as amended. Next up is the reading of ordinances. We're having second reading for ordinance 117-2025, amending Articles 2 and 3 of the zoning ordinance of Horry County, South Carolina pertaining to planned development districts. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Mr. Causey, do you have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to defer this to the March 3rd meeting, please.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to defer to the March 3rd meeting. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
That is deferred to the March 3rd meeting. These are second readings and public hearings on the following ordinances. First up is ordinance 02-2026, Diamond Shores, agent for Terraview Homes. Mr. Causey.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Anyone from the public wish to be heard on this? Hearing none. Anyone from council? Hearing none.
I'd just like to say that.
Oh, go ahead. Did you say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that this is not a rezoning for another housing development. This is some commercial stuff here.
All right. Anybody else from council wish to be heard on that? Hearing none. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving on to ordinance 03-2026, Diamond Shores, agent for the Han Group. Mr. Servant.
So moved.
Second.
Anyone from the public? Hearing none. Anyone from council? Hearing none. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Next up is ordinance 04-2026, WC Bellamy Express. Mr. Hardy.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone from the public? Hearing none. Anyone from council? Hearing none. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Ordinance 05-2026, Jonathan Cochrane, agent for Living Water Church at Market Common. Mr. Loftus.
Move to approve.
Second.
From the public? Hearing none. Anyone from council? Hearing none. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Next up is ordinance 07-2026, Diamond Shores, agent for Rolling Green Estates. Mr. Allen.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Second.
Anyone from the public? Hearing none. Anyone from council? Hearing none. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ordinance 08-2026, Diamond Shores, agent for Rolling Green Estates. Mr. Allen.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Anyone from the public? Hearing none. Anyone from council? Hearing none. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
And finally, second reading and public hearing for ordinance 09-2026, amending Article 8, Section 809 of the zoning ordinance of Horry County to the Highway 17 Business South Overlay. Mr. Servant, motion.
So moved. Second.
We have a second. Anyone from the public? Hearing none. Anyone from council? Hearing none. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
We'll move on to memorial dedications. Mr. Tom Anderson.
Joyce Dickey, Charles Laverne Todd Sr., Todd Edward Bursler, Frances Elizabeth Alford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Daniel Danny Charles Williams.
Sir, Mr. Allen.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Coach Ronald Swanston, JV basketball coach at Aner High School, Miss Teresa Holden, and Mr. Lonnie Prosser. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. DeSabato.
Yeah, Mr. Pete Deladon and Miss Dorothy Smith.
Sir. Mr. Hardy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Shirley Thompson, Todd Sessions, Buster Booth, Wilbur Floyd Benton, and that's it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? All right. We will honor these individuals tonight by closing out our meeting in their memory. And we'll move on to upcoming meetings that are listed on the agenda. Please pay attention to our social media and our county website because sometimes those meetings change because of weather and other incidences. Executive session, if necessary, is listed on the agenda. I don't believe it's necessary. If anybody from council opposes that or wishes to have an executive session. All right, well, we'll just move straight into the vote. This is a vote. I'm going to read it into the record, and then we're going to have a discussion about it. And at the conclusion of the discussion, we're going to vote on it. All right. For the record, this is to accept or to approve the mediated settlement agreement to civil case number 2025-CP-26-0830, Horry County Medical Property Owner, LLC versus Zoning Board of Appeals. We'll start off by Mr. Servant. If you want to go first, you can go, or you can go last, or you can go both.
Do you need a motion to approve it first for discussion purposes?
Well, I think it's not in the, I thought we were just going to vote it straight up and down. I was going to give everybody an opportunity to discuss it. It's not in the form of a motion. I hear from my parliamentarian. Would be appropriate? We can do it that way. All right, let's hear a motion then. Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Now we'll have it for discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not going to belabor the point, but I think back to last week when we had a meeting in the Burgess community, and I was asked this question by quite a few residents. There was no doubt there was a unanimous consent in that room that night, and everybody believed that mental health needs more facilities in Horry County. There is no question about it. County Council recognizes that. That's why County Council formed an ad hoc committee to address mental health. We recognize that it's an issue and it needs to be addressed and there needs to be facilities. But just like all development, whether it be residential, commercial, or healthcare, it needs to be done in the right way, in the right place, at the right time. And I think there are so many individuals that took that podium tonight that are residents of my district and are constituents of mine that made so many good points. And I don't need to rehash all of those for redundancy, but like all development, we have to do it in the right way, and it has to be done in the right place at the right time. And for that reason and that reason only, I'm going to be voting no tonight and standing with my constituents that are here tonight and that have voiced their opinions. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
And I
Thank
ask all my council members to do the same in supporting the resident council member.
All right. Mr. DeSabato is rung in. We'll hear from you next.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with Tyler's sentiments here. You know, we need mental health facility and we need mental health services in this county, but our charge is to be responsible for decisions that affect our constituents. And, you know, if they didn't need to put a wall up, then, or the need to put a wall up would tell me that there's something odious or dangerous or something that would certainly impact their day-to-day lives. And so while I would encourage the applicant to continue to seek available opportunities for mental health treatment within the county, I just don't know that this location is the proper place for it. So I'm going to side with Tyler on this one.
Okay. Anybody else want to talk?
Mr. Chairman, I'd heard from a couple of them say this is a zoning change. I'd like to ask David Jordan, is this a zoning change?
No, sir.
I didn't think it was.
It's a special exception.
It's a use change, correct?
It's a use change?
It's a special exception,
Right.
which is used when a use could be offensive, then it would go to the ZBA for approval.
And this council, thank you, David, this council put together a team of people to try and come up with ways that Horry County can combat mental health issues. And, you know, we've seen no action, no movement. It's been kind of just a lot of talk and a lot of wishes. And then someone comes along and they want to come to our county and build this facility. I feel like this facility is a stepping stone to get started in building more of these in our county. There's no good place to put them. I mean, everybody's got land and they don't want something next to it. They all come down here and say, oh, I came here and that farm, I don't want it to ever be a subdivision, and all of a sudden it's a subdivision. And then they're complaining that they don't want a subdivision next to their house. Well, this is going on every day, and we have slowed down the zoning changes as fast and as hard as we can without getting in lawsuits. But I think this opportunity to have these people come and build this facility and do what the neighbors want, you know, they're all for all these things they added into their agreement. I was confused when they came back and said, no, they don't want this facility. And, you know, who came first? You know, the neighborhood or this facility? It was always meant to help people. And that's what they want to do, is help people. So that's just my opinion and how I feel. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to say one thing. I've heard everyone out here tonight, and it's a very hard decision to make. And for me, I mean, basically it boils down to sitting here and casting a vote knowing that it'll be a vote against Federal Disability Act. You know, we're going against violating the federal act of discrimination, and that makes it tough for me to vote against this project. Or vote for it, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, sir. We listened to y'all, we followed the rules, and now it's our time to talk. Y'all don't have to listen to us, but please don't interrupt us, okay? Please.
And
Continue,
just for the
sir.
comments, I'm taking advice from our attorney.
All right, anyone else? All right, I just got a couple of things I'd like to say. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody again for coming out. I know it's important to y'all, and because it's important to y'all, it's important to us, everybody up here. This is not an easy decision. It's not, I promise you, it's not an easy decision for anybody up here to do this. But I want to tell you that probably 2.5, 3 years ago, I started a committee on mental health. For the first year, it was our priority. Priority shifted from public safety to mental health, and we found out that they merged and they all worked together. And I got pushback on everything I did. The day I started the committee, I got pushback. We finally got some traction. We finally hired some people. We started some committees. We started some units. We got police officers embedded with, we have mental health people embedded with police officers. It's really taking on traction, and it's really helping. Mental health problems face everybody in this community. Everybody. And anybody that's shaking their head, if you pay attention, you'll find out it's either at work or somewhere it's affecting you. So when I first heard about this, I was thrilled. But then I heard about the pushback from the community, and I understand that. But then I heard about these concessions. Build a wall. Well, build a wall because they didn't want it to be around there. That's fine. This is the first time I've ever seen a mediated agreement where one side got everything they asked for. You want a security guard? You got one. You want video? You got it. You want a wall? You got it. I see people here shaking their head. I'm only going by what the written document says. I can read the document. That's what it says. Okay? Mental health is important. Community values are important. But I just do not see that this is a no vote right today, tonight. We've got to move forward. I understand this is in one district, and I respect the district man down there for that, but this is a countywide issue. The lawsuit is a county lawsuit. The money that will be expended is taxpayer money that comes from the entire county. I understand that your community might want to blow the tax money on defending a lawsuit that we're going to lose, and they're going to be able to do this hospital anyway without the concessions. There'll be no wall. There'll be none of the things that we've asked for. But the rest of the county should not have to make that sacrifice. It's a big county. This is a step in the right direction. And I might be the only yes vote tonight, but I'm voting yes. Dr. Dukes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for that statement. And this might get a little bit emotional, and I'm very sorry. From a professional standpoint, from a personal standpoint, if you have been closely affected by mental health and you haven't had a facility to be able to get a loved one in, I hope you never have to go through that. But there might be a life standing here in front of me today if we had another one of these facilities. And as somebody that supports mental health, that served on the mental health committee that the chairman created, as a pharmacist, I work with it every single day. As a professional, some of my colleagues have suffered. But I lost a family member this year because we didn't have a facility like this. And he didn't belong in a normal hospital beside of somebody that wasn't going through the same thing. With the chairman, I know that this is in District 5, and I respect that, and I'm sorry. But there are more issues to this that make it a countywide issue. And I have to support the rest of the county.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I was just going to say, I've been involved with a family member, and the closest place we could find for that family member was in Charleston. And when I went to that facility, I almost thought, this is not a mental health facility, but it was, and it was right in the middle of community, not behind you. It was house on one side, house on another side, house on the other street. And that was the only place that we could find, the closest place, or not the only place, but the closest place we can find. So there is mental health facilities that operate in a community, not behind it, not outside of it, or close to it, in it. And that's what we experienced in Charleston.
Anyone else from council? All right, hearing none, we will put this to a vote. We'll vote on the big board. Vote is 8-4, it passes. That concludes the business for the county for tonight.
Motion adjourned, Mr. Chairman.
Bang it, go ahead and bang it.
He's not gonna do it to me, so if you let me hold that